Okay, now uh, when we talk about Microsoft Azure, since Microsoft is one of the company which is providing cloud services for end users, then in that particular case, if when we talk about Microsoft Azure and its services, then in that particular case, Microsoft provides a variety of services. And if we bifurcate and if we compare it with the traditional model, you can definitely see that we have choices like whether we want to run it on premises or whether we want to run it off premises, whether we want to go with heterogeneous infrastructure or we want to go with homogeneous infrastructure, whether we want to invest the capital expenses in the early stage or we only want to spend on the operational expenses, whether we want to own the infrastructure or whether we want to lease the infrastructure or rent it, whether we want to manage it or whether we want to give it to third party. So which option will you find more suitable from all the aspects? Owning resources or taking them on rent? You can see the comparison, like if you buy it, then it will be in your premises, but if you rent it, it will be off premises. If you buy it, it will be heterogeneous because it will be having only limited compatibility. It won't be having complete compatibility. But if you go with cloud, it is homogeneous. Anything can be compatible with it. Here you have to spend more in the capital expenses. Initial cost will be higher, and on the opposite side, you only have to spend on the operational expenses. There is no such capital expenses required. Here you have the ownership of the resources, but here you will take it on rent. So if you don't like it, you can switch to else also. Here you are managing it in self, and here you are using some third party. Got it? Any doubt in this? Please do let me know if you are unable to understand this diagram, because this diagram is little bit important from Microsoft Azure point of view.
So,
Yes.
can you explain fundamentals?
Yeah. If we talk about the fundamental block, then fundamental block consists of application programming, which is the top layer. In that you have scale out option, automated service management, high availability, and multi-tenancy. Now, when we talk about software as a service, when we talk about software and platform as a service, then there might be an issue while programming or while designing an application. You are designing it for a particular set of number of users. Let me say that if you are designing your own social networking website, so you will fix that this particular programming language can handle or your database can handle 10,000 user or 1 lakh user. What if there are more number of user? Do you have any alternative planned for that? So in that particular case, you will require high storage. You will definitely require a system which can automatically scale up. That facility you can get with cloud. Second is automatic service management. So if there is an issue with some service, that particular service management can be automated with the help of cloud. Third is higher availability. So for example, if more number of people are reaching to your system and you are losing with the bandwidth, then some of the user what they will see, website is unable to load. Let me give you an example. If you are reaching a website and that particular website is saying that unable to reach, then you will lose your trust to that website. Definitely we will lose our trust to that website. So the website should be highly available. And lastly, multi-tenancy. Like if you don't require a larger space and you're ready to share some space with some other people as well in the cloud data center, so you can choose the multi-tenancy structure where few portion will be given to you, isolated portion will be given to you for storing your data, and the rest other portion will be given to some other company to store their data. So this is how we can save costing also for a big resource. So multi-tenancy structure helps in that. Although it is completely isolated, there is no transaction between that company and your company, but it will be shared structure like apartment. So you have a common area, but you have separate flats isolated in the same way.
Sir, because the site you just said that it won't load, that was because many users will access the same resource at the same time, right?
Right.
So basically the load gets distributed between the servers.
Yeah, definitely. That is being scheduled with respect to your
Cloud.
no your load balancing policy.
Okay. So basically, sir, the feature which you just told, like the high scalability, these are not just for Microsoft Azure, right? It is general for each and every cloud providing service. For example, GCP and AWS.
Right.
Yeah, got it.
Any more questions from the student side? Please do ask. Yes. Okay. Now you can see, you can observe the taxonomy of cloud computing. This is also very, very crucial and important to understand. Now, this particular image represents three major services that are provided in terms of cloud. First is software as a service, second is platform as a service, third is infrastructure as a service. And what you are going to manage and what vendor is going to manage. Okay, so purple color represent vendor and blue color represent user. So when you go more and more with respect to infrastructure, you can see that you are having more authorities of the system. On the other hand, contradictory to that, when you choose software as a service, everything need to be managed by vendor, and you have the access to the software. When you choose platform, you have the access to application and data. You can manage that, and rest other things vendor will manage. If you go to infrastructure, then you can manage everything, and vendor will only take care of the hardware part, a little hardware part. And when you take a package software complete, then you have entire access. Like you take your own system, like in premises system, then you are having all the access and you have to manage everything. But this graph also scales in terms of higher cost and more control, and lower cost and higher agility. That is the way it is being plotted. So I want you to observe this graph, very, very important. Please do check and let me know if you have any doubt. Yes, any doubt, any question? Akash, what is your understanding on this? Can you elaborate?
So
Yeah, yeah, yes.
yeah, so you said that the portion that are purple, like as you move through from the software part to the infrastructural part, the the customization options for the user will increase. That more modifications can be made by the user.
Right.
So basically, sir, as and on the platform goes deep into the infrastructure, basically, that is the IS. So
Ah,
the user or the person who's developing the application, he will have the whole thing. Like he can deploy and develop everything on that platform, right?
right, right. But the thing is that you need to pay more also.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, got it.
But if you go with on-premises like packet software, then you have control, complete control. But management, payment, everything is very high.
Yeah.
And you need to take care of air conditioning, cooling system, infrastructure cost,
Yes,
people,
sir.
people to manage
In
all.
that also in IS, I guess the hardware as a service also comes into the picture, right? That the server and all you have to pay for that.
We have to pay, but we don't need to manage them. It is being
Yeah.
managed by the vendor.
Yes, that is the reason we are hiring the cloud. But we need to pay for the server. We don't need to manage, but we need to pay for the server, like maintaining it and all, right?
Mm, you need to pay for accessing it. You don't need to pay for maintaining it.
Okay. Okay.
Any more questions from anyone? Okay, what are the Azure's applications now? Talking about Azure, in a very yes, yes, there.
No, nothing. I'll. You can continue to ask me the question after this. Maybe you'll.
So one thing, can I ask?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please.
So sir, IS and that IS, that is infrastructure as a service, we are able to handle the backend as well. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dale. If you want to ask anything, you can ask.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, the three major advantage of it is first, it is flexible. Second is it is open-ended, like one can use it the way he want. And third is it is very powerful. It's a comprehensive set of services that enable you to quickly build, deploy, and manage applications across a global network of Microsoft managed dedicated data centers. So that is what actually Azure is about. It is having variety and vast feature. And we know that if we talk about worldwide, 95% of people are still using Windows operating system. And with Microsoft Cloud, it is more compatible to access and use Windows operating system. Now, this is something a global footprint, like where Microsoft Azure has placed itself. So you can see it is almost worldwide, everywhere been used, very popular. 99.95% the service level agreement runs smooth. There is no violation in the service level agreement. So whatever the users they are demanding the services, it's like they are getting what they are paying for. Usage based model, like pay only for what the user is using. Okay, this is one of the major advantage. And finally, the architecture detail. So you can just see here, if we go in detail of Microsoft Azure, there are pretty much component. The first component is The blue color line is your application which you have put on the cloud. Second is the red color, which is the data that is being generated by your application. So application and data are the first two layers. Third is the platform on which you are running your application. Fourth is application fabric and fabric controller. Now the use of fabric controller, like fabric controller, plays a very crucial part, and it is one of the major key component of Microsoft Azure architecture. Now, what is the use of Fabric Controller? Fabric Controller monitors and manages servers and coordinate resources for software application. So, the major role of it is it manages and coordinate and monitor also resources of the software application. So, whatever their resources are there, that has been taken care by the Fabric Controller. Below to that is infrastructure and fabric.
Can
and
you
fabric.
explain the role of the fabric controller again?
Yeah, I'll explain it.
There's a piece of software, yeah?
Yeah, everything is like that. But when we talk about specifically a fabric controller, fabrics are the group of mechanism in Microsoft data centers. Okay, and there is a special set of fabric controller for managing the application. So there are two types of fabric controller. First is app fabric controller, and second is normal fabric controller, which can take care of the infrastructure. Now it take care of managing the resources. Fabric controller is used for managing the resources. So when a new application is published in Microsoft Azure, then the app fabric controller will take care of that application in terms of managing and handling the resources that are required by that application particularly.
So then I thought like that was the job of the hypervisor, because I thought the hypervisor manages the resources and the virtual machines run inside that. So what is the fabric controller doing?
See, hypervisor is below to that. This is a middle level component. Let me check if I can have a more specific diagram. I'll show you then. Just give me a minute.
Oh, okay.
Can you able to see fabric agent, root partition, physical machine, then guest operating system, that is virtual machine, guest operating system, second virtual machine. Then we have compute role, guest agent role, and that has been taken care by the fabric agent and fabric controller.
So there are two virtual machines running.
Yeah, two virtual machines. They are used for coordinating and controlling and monitoring the resources of the software application basically. So they help in coordination and monitoring so that the functionality can be more smoother.
first comes the hypervisor, then comes the fabric controller. Is that
Hypervisor,
like the abstraction layers?
no, hypervisor comes below to that. Okay. This is what we are discussing is virtual machine components. We are not discussing hypervisor. See, the structure is very simple. I will tell you. First, you have hardware. Okay. Then you have an operating system. If you are going with a hosted architecture, and if you are not going with the hosted architecture, then you have a hypervisor, and on the top of that you have virtual machine, and within that virtual machine you have fabric controllers. And if you have a bare metal architecture, simple bare metal architecture, then you have hardware. On the top of the hardware you have an operating system. On the top of that you have a hypervisor. On the top of hypervisor you have virtual machine along with fabric controller. This is the architecture. Got it, Dale?
This is for both. This is for both type of hypervisors. Yeah, like hypervisors where the host operating system runs, and the hypervisors where it is directly above the hardware.
No, mostly this is for Azure architecture, fabric controller.
Okay. Okay.
Not
No, I
for
thought this was like a common architecture for everything.
no. This is for Azure. This fabric controller you won't see in other virtualization. Mostly that is a special component designed by Microsoft for their Azure platform for better management and handling of their virtual machines.
Okay.
Now the three main component: virtual machine, cloud services, and websites. Basic major three components that is being provided. Now in the list, if we go,
Sir, are you sharing a screen?
yes. Just a minute. Yeah. Got it? Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let us discuss the next topic. We have seen a closed source company product, Microsoft Azure. Now let us see an open source framework for deploying and creating cloud. So can anyone name one of the popular open source?
GCP.
Yeah,
GCP, Google Cloud Platform.
Google Cloud Platform is there. Apart from that,
Firebase.
oh,
Serverless architecture, cloud-based.
that is database. Firebase.
Yeah.
Have you heard about
Okay.
OpenStack?
Yes, sir. I guess Cloud Firestore is another, like it's not database. It's cloud-based again. It's not a traditional database.
We know AWS is there, but AWS is again from Amazon. I'm talking
No,
about
no, sir. I am talking about Cloud Firestore.
yeah. Now, if you want to create your own cloud in your own premises, you have the hardware. So how can you make it? So for that, you need a kind of a solid piece of a software that converts your hardware into a cloud-based system. And for that, you need a powerful and the most powerful software, that is OpenStack. I'll tell you, if you go in detail of OpenStack, there are hundreds of job opportunities in this area, hundreds. Only for giving consultation for OpenStack, like if you give a consultancy to someone as a part of OpenStack, you will be paid in lakhs of rupees just to give consultancy.
So what is it exactly?
For the OpenStack, right?
See, OpenStack is a kind of a framework that is used for creating your own private cloud. Okay, you can create your own private cloud with the help of OpenStack, and you can create a virtual machine. You can deploy those virtual machines. You can have n number of users, and it is completely open source. Completely open source. So there is no such major licensing issues are there. And now you know that people are willing to deploy everything on their cloud platform, cloud based systems, and softwares are one of the most costliest thing. So most of the people, they are adopting open source as a way to create their own infrastructure services, and they are giving their cloud based systems to on rent also.
So, but why are they opting for this? Like, was in the previous method possible?
See, Dale, if you want to start your own company, you purchase the very big hardware of IBM, okay, or any other company. You purchase a very big strong server, okay, and you installed and configure it with open source, OpenStack. Now, once you have OpenStack with you, you can give, you can create virtual machines and give it to rent to people worldwide on monthly basis, and this is how you can earn money. So that is a revenue model of OpenStack.
Right.
And if you want to start your company with hundreds of users, for them also you can use OpenStack, create your own private cloud, and then deploy it. See, this is something which is contradictory to Microsoft Azure, because Microsoft Azure is not in premises. It was off premises, we discussed. But now this is, I'm
Is
talking
that
about.
like the same thing that happens in our college, SICSR?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They-
We have open source OpenStack installed in our SICSR. So we don't need to buy someone third party companies virtual machines and systems. We are using our own by deploying it on a powerful hardware.
So you don't need to pay for using OpenStack.
Yes, because you have installed it in your own hardware, no?
So it's open source basically, completely free.
Yeah. See, It's like we have mobile phone with Android operating system. Then what is the use of it? Like, do we are paying for
Yeah,
Android operating system?
I think there's a deal like to make Google, you have to use their application. Like you have to use their services and all for
Hmm?
Android, yeah.
What?
If you're using Android, then you'll have to use Google's services and all. Like there's a deal or something.
No,
There's no deal
automatically.
like that.
No, no, no. What they did is automatically, if you want to use Android, you have to create a Google account. So if you start using a Google account, automatically those services comes and automatically people use them.
Okay.
And Android is very powerful and it is coming free of cost. That's why mobile cost is so very cheap, no? If you compare with Apple, why Apple phones are costlier with less megapixel?
That's because they make the operating system and everything, and so since they put a lot of work into it, the price is more.
Yeah, so they have the operating system, that research and development cost of operating system higher. So that's why the phone cost also increases.
the operating system, the software and hardware both are very well optimized in Apple. So maybe that's the reason.
Operating system is very optimized and the money that is spent on developing that is very high. So that's why
Yeah.
automatically the cost increases. On the other hand, Android, any company can, those who have the hardware, they can simply get a tie-up with Google, download Android and install in any phone. Use it, give it free of cost to people.
Yeah, that's why like Android needs really more powerful hardware than Apple, I think, in order to perform the same amount of like
Yeah.
performing the same.
So basically, when we talk about OpenStack architecture, you just need to download it and you just need to install and configure it in your system and start creating your own private cloud with OpenStack framework. So you can simply observe this diagram. You have cloud computing, that is a set of resources and services offered through the internet. So you have web services, you have Ubuntu, you have Windows 2008. For example, you have Cricinfo, a website. So in between, you need a management stack and you need a server, and client can access it from anywhere. And that's the thing. So it acts as the management stack where you are putting installing this hardware or this software on the top of your hardware, and you can start creating your own cloud with OpenStack. I'll roughly give you an idea. Uh, See, OpenStack is a community of an open source developers and participating organizations and users who are building and running the open source cloud operating system. So it's an open source cloud operating system. It's a framework to make your own private clouds. OpenStack is an infrastructure as a service, which is known as cloud operating system, that takes resources such as compute, storage, network, virtualization technology, and controls those resources at a data center level. OpenStack basically requirement is cloud must be very simple to implement and massively scalable. This is what actually the motto of OpenStack is. So it is quite different from the cloud that we discussed. We had a discussion on Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure is a completely paid commercial product. On the other hand, this is something which is free of cost available. You just need to go to a website, type OpenStack, and you can download it. But don't try to install it on your laptop. It requires a high configuration to install. See,
Like what kind of high configuration does it require?
you can
Obviously,
see,
people who are using it, they are using it on the machines itself, right?
see, OpenStack system requirement. It requires 4 core of 2.4 gigahertz, minimum 8 GB to 24 GB of RAM,
That's too
24
much.
because it's a server, na Tanmay. It's not a laptop or a desktop. I'm talking about the configuration. It also requires a redundant array of hierarchical disk.
सर तो चलता कहाँ पे है? If it is on server, we have to install it in server.
We have na Tanmay. SICSR is having one server with 256 GB of RAM.
अरे बाप रे.
256 GB RAM server we have. You have never seen that in SICSR?
No, like
Never.
not seen. Never seen.
Okay.
We don't know.
When you all come here na in campus, I will arrange one day to visit to our IT block. There I'll show you this powerful machine, data center.
That used to happen like whenever we used to do some work, the files used to get deleted after some time. Maybe it's like some.
Sir, is there in the place where the blades are there?
Blade server, yes.
अच्छा हाँ. Then I have seen.
See, this is the hardware requirement for OpenStack. It's open. The website is also open. Which software packages are required? Which are the operating systems that it is more suitable with? Like Ubuntu server is required. On the top of that, we can install it like along with it. And this is the software and hardware level. And you can configure it like the way you want. And you can download also. So documents are there, softwares are there with respect to it. See, OpenStack is a cloud operating system that controls a large pool of compute, storage, and networking resources throughout a data center and manages all provision through APIs with common authentication mechanism. So you have OpenStack, you have a shared network and storage, you can have a bare metal architecture, virtual machine, and containers also. Even you can use some third-party tools like Kubernetes, Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry is from IBM, Terraform, like that. See, it's very like what we can say powerful computing system, like very powerful computing systems. It it can make your hardware to be utilized to a level next. So you can also go with some sample configurations. This is like very easy to install. Like OpenStack, just put download. Download the ISO image of OpenStack. See, process to prepared and isolation media or field project like that. You can download this directly ISO. Got it? Any doubt till now?
No, sir.